Hi there, it's Dave Levine here. Welcome to my Dave Levine's Reflections of a People Developer and a Podcast Host. It's Monday evening, it's the beginning of week 3, and I'm really looking forward to just sharing my quick reflections with you as it's pretty late on in the evening now. Again, it feels like I'm a bit of a broken record here, but it's been a pretty busy day, lots going on, and I'll come to some of that in a second. But the three kind of key areas that I would like to just share my reflections on. One of them today is about, I'm going to call it playing the person as opposed to playing the environment and the context. The second point is around listening, and the other one is about being a taxi driver. So let me start off with the first one about playing the person. My reflections on that have really fallen out of a coaching discussion I had with an individual this morning. Really helping her to explore the anxiety in the way she set herself up when facing into certain situations, and actually turning up, playing against the fantasy of the person that she was actually engaging with, as opposed to the reality, and actually whether she was being driven by the external motivation, the external relationship with those individuals, as opposed to actually accessing her individual and internal power. And what I really it's really made me think a little about is, again, what do I set up here in terms of judgments of myself? Again, how do I help others with those sort of judgments? But for me, I work really hard on trying to ensure that I do things that are right for me and for my purpose and for my belief and my passion, as opposed to try and do things to either appease other people or feel concerned or worried about what other people might think or feel. So it's been quite a useful discussion, especially at the moment where I am working really hard to develop some new concepts, to do a number of things, and I'm judging myself a lot, and I'm wondering whether I'm judging myself or whether I'm doing it for myself or for others. So playing the man or playing the person as opposed to the environment or the ball, or coaching what you see, those kind of concepts all flow into this. What am I going to take forward from that? Well, I think the main thing for me is really to focus on, what's important to me, what's my purpose, what's driving me, and making sure that I just turn up each day and do as best as I can. And I'm working hard on that, and not being overly influenced by the perception or the judgment of others. The second point, again, was about listening. I class myself as a really good listener. I'm practicing that. I've been editing a podcast today, so really reflecting on my skills of listening and the questions. And at times I was giving myself a bit of a hard time that I wasn't sure I was properly engaged. So actually working with a client and actually doing a podcast, I've been reflecting on the difference and the difference in type of listening that I bring to that. Again, I was helping a client today really focus on listening rather than talking, and the values of that, and how to sharpen and polish that skill. So for me, coming into this week, I'm going to be doing a couple more podcasts. I've got a number of coaching sessions coming up, so it's really important for me to really fine tune and tune into that important behaviour of listening. So moving on to the last one, and the third one, I called it being the taxi driver. And that links into time and time management. My week's changed today. It's the school holidays. My kids are around a little bit more. And the last thing is that we've come out of lockdown a little bit more so, and the kids have got a little bit more freedom. So I'm back into potentially being a bit more of a taxi driver, which is a real tension for me, just in sense of I like helping, but I also like to be focused in what I'm doing. So I'm getting pulled on. There's a bit of tension between what I do for others and what I do for myself. So some really good reflections, good start to the week, and I've got a busy time ahead, really helping others. So looking after my energy through this is going to be key. So that's me done for today. Thanks for joining in and tuning in. I hope that's been helpful, and I look forward to you joining me for my reflections, both as a podcast host and as a people developer throughout the rest of the week. So over and out, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for joining me, Dave.